waka 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 waka. How's it going, everybody? Good to see you. Happy Friday. My name is James True, but you already knew that. Why am I talking about myself? Today's episode is we're gonna talk about liquid consciousness. Consciousness is a type of carne asada sauce, and it is used in Pollo Loco, one of my favorite meals. And I want to welcome the 52nd state. I am fucking stoked about, as Stretch says, pulling the bra off the continent. And man, let's fucking have some fun. We are Amuraka, is what we are. And as I've said before, we've been digested by this eagle warrior snake that's ancient. It's older than all of us, and some of us are old. And all of us are old. That's a trick. And you didn't know that, did you? Some of you are like, "Oh, I'm young." It's like, no. Look, guys, when they're like, "Oh, you must be an old soul," it's like, no, everyone's retarded. Okay, I'm not an old soul. There's just a lot of retards around here. Okay, so let's just fucking check that box and move on. I don't mind you saying you're an old soul. I don't. I poke things, you know. I said 52nd, though, because I think, guys, in my opinion, it feels like we're kind of telling Puerto Rico that, like, hey, Puerto Rico, appreciate you coming over. We had a good time. Yeah, you were my 51st. You were my 51st. You were my first. With the 5 in the front. You were my first. And you and I have a special relationship. I'm going to give you this tax-free haven, a little apartment where you can stay, and I will come visit you, and I am horny, and you and I will put the Rico in the Rico Act. You know what I'm saying, right? You know what I mean. Oh, Mudra. Oh, mudra. Look at this. The owl is a fucking mudra. It's a double mudra. You knew that. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. I will say more. Guys, it's a beautiful day. Things are happening. Big changes. All that stuff. And I'm going to let's show you. Liquid consciousness is might be the first topic. I actually don't know how I've ordered these things. Let's find out. We will find out together. Okay. Together, everybody symbiotic. Together, everybody's goopiotic. Okay, so here we go. We're going to, first of all, I've got some Blender porn to show you. We'll get to it though. But this is the green thing that you see on the screen is the cranial spinal fluid, the third ventricle. And it is full of this juice, this medium is what it's full of. And this medium, shown in here in green, has this shape because that's the shape of your horns. You have horns and wings in your head. And it depends on your perspective. If you are polarized in the anti-zone world, where everything's anti, right? I hate this, I hate that, or that's wrong, or that's wrong, or that's wrong. You use your ventricles as maybe you would use those as I would actually say wings. See, you probably thought I was going to say horns. This is why, James, this is why you're the fucking devil. I know, but hear me out, okay? If you are living in anti-world, that's actually more angelic. Do you know why it's more angelic? Because the angels are the cream at the top. And the only way you're going to be the cream at the top is if you feel that there is a top. And if you feel that there's a top and you worship a top and you think in terms of top, then you will rise above everyone else because it will be your worship, your sense of duty, your sense of what you consider your moral journey is going to be based on this place. The horn, oh man, guys, the horn is not doing that, right? The horn is not doing that. The horn's like, I want everybody to come over. It's my birthday. We got some light cake. It's my birthday. One of you was like, did he just say? Yeah, I did. And I was just winking at you. You know what you're doing. You're watching James True. And the horn's going to be like, I want all you fuckers to come over. We're going to have a fucking orgy. We're going to have a good time. We're going to invent something called syphilis. You're not even going to know it. The only way you're going to be able to know it is we're going to express it through the worship of Medusa. And in fact, we're going to create one of the largest cults in the world, a beautiful cult. I love cults, called Christianity. I am a Christian. I freaking love this because my cult is insane. They're fucking insane. And I'm like a gypsy. I'm just like, dude, what do I do? What do you want me to do? I'm fucking camped here. All I have is a fucking caravan. Yeah, there's a lot of dogs. That's all they do is bark. Seriously, I know. Do you know how insane it is to try and be a writer when there's always dogs barking? Why do you think all my novels are about dogs? Haven't you noticed that? Haven't you put it together yet that all the novels that I write happen to be about dogs? And I'm literally in here in this gypsy trailer park that I've just made up because I'm trying to explain to you what it's like to grow up here in this place. You know what it's like because you're in the cult too. And you could be a Christian. You can claim it because the moment you claim it, you start to induce shame into that which you claim, and the vibratory field, the morphic resonance of the cathedral of the egoric truth, hears you pray. You light your little candle, and it goes flame, flame, flame. Things are happening, and this wisp builds up and fills the architecture, and it's charged with your enthusiasm, your limbic jizz. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. The limbic jizz that you insert into the light cake. Oh God, I said it again. Now it's out. Oh, it's no more esoteric. Oh, we're gonna need some extra eso. This is extra esoterica, guys. The word independence, the declaration of independence, is like we declare that we are in dependence. In my opinion, I'd be like, so you want everybody to shit their pants. It depends. No, that's not what I mean. But we are in a state of dependence. For anyone not aware, Depends undergarment is a brand name. It's kind of like Kleenex, but for old people. And instead of their nose, it's their pooper. Welcome to James True Live. We already got a super chat. Thank you, Droopy. You were encouraging me. If people are like, why are you doing that? It's Droopy's fault. He's giving me super chat. And stop touching the mic, James. You're just going to make a lot of noise. So you get it. Let's get back to the point. Wings, horns, liquid consciousness. And how you choose to see the world is going to be based on how you want to use your horns, right? Do you want your horns to be wings? Or do you want them to be antlers, right? Antlers. It's up to you. It's all keratin, baby. Yeah, wings are keratin. Oh no, he just said it. Yep. Horns are calcium. Okay, that was almost keratin. Oh God. So it's calcium keratinated. It's calcium on after living through the experience of being addicted to vitamin K. So it's keratin. No, wait. Let's just, this analogy is not going to work. Guys, sometimes I'm going to throw an analogy out and it's not going to stick. This is why we use Nerf darts, the Velcro. That's the only way to dart. It's the only way to go. The Sensus Communis judgment and soul are located in the third ventricle of the brain. The Sensus Communis, judgment, and soul are located in the third ventricle of the brain. These are three things. The Sensus Communis, this is the heart of the communicados. The parabola is liquid, my friends. It is liquid. That's the parabola. And this Sensus Communis. The judgment? What is the judgment? The judgment is the wings. Aye, because as I said before, that which is purified, that which feels there's something called pure, would need to exercise the magnanimous magic that you and I call judgment. Sword of Damocles in the house. Don't look up. Don't look up. It ruins it. You just know it's there. Don't look up. Don't look up. That thing will poke your eye out. And then the soul, the third. These are the horns, am I right? Leonardo da Vinci. Look him up. I know most of you don't know who this is. I'm being sarcastic right now. But wouldn't that be funny? I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. That's not the point. The point is that this shape is architectural computer. And here's what I think. Here's how I think it works. I believe that the pulsing of the heart is more than what we think. And although it definitely does, there's an electrical wanting. I believe the heart runs off wanting, and the wanting is Vivian calling forward for her author. She's like, "Who will sacrifice themselves for the kingdom of England?" And a bunch of veterans that got tired of going home and not doing much, and they've been carrying swords before, and they're like, "I'm a sword carrier. This is what I do. I have a hemoglobical destiny. And my father was a hemoglobin. And my father's father was a hemoglobin. And I'm a hemoglobin too. Wouldn't you like to be a hemoglobin too? Wouldn't you like a chance to enter the cloistered chamber of the king, of the queen? And inside the queen, inside her chamber, where it's nice and warm, where you got your aortic valves, a little cleavage going on there, and she's desperate. She's like, "Hey, I need someone to carry my sacred sword." And you look around, and there's no one else in the chamber of the heart, and you're like, "Do you mean me?" And she's like, "Yeah, of course I mean you. I need you to save this whole place. So I'm gonna give you this sword. I've never given it to anyone else." And you're gonna fall for it. You're gonna be like, "Oh, wait. Really? Oh, I'm special?" She's like, "You don't understand how special you are. You're the only one. You're King Arthur. You're the one who's gonna make it all come true." And you're gonna be like, "Oh my God, this is special." She's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna give you my virginity. Yeah. And when we go to Cameron Hill after the prom, you're gonna think that I'm giving you my virginity. And that's all that matters, because this place runs off belief, Jimmy. This place runs off belief. And this is what I'm doing." So Vivian, she hands the sword to Arthur. What are you gonna do? You're gonna say no? What are you going to do? You're going to be like, "No, I'm going to clot. I'm just going to go clot. I'm going to go live in Clottersville. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to be a scab. I'm going to maybe hang out with the sickle cells. I think they've been misjudged. I like the sickle cells. They got good music over there. Yeah. A little anemia, a little kajagoogoo, right? Or you could take the sword. You could take the sword and be like, "Fuck yeah, I'm taking the sword. I'm going to go." And you're going to be fucking hurled at the speed of fucking sound. Yeah. Through the arteries. Straight into your destiny. And you know what she's going to say? She's going to say, "That was quick." And you're going to go, "I heard that." And you weren't quick. You were spurtful. That's what you were. That's not quick. That is, you're what's the word? You're pre-decided. That's all. Premature. It just means, over-prepared. You're an over-prepared, ejaculatus. I don't know where we're talking about this, but the Sensus Communis is really where it's at. And all this, see how Blaine just said, I don't know why we are talking about this. And you guys are like, "You're the one who brought up, like, cake, James. You're the one who did that, not me. Canarium. We will go up to the canarium and have a conversation." See, this is actually what led me to the idea that we were actually a submarine. We're a submarine wrapped in skin, and the submarine, the third ventricle, is just part of this. But this submarine has these transducers that are outside the blood-brain barrier's electrical box, but are still have their own listening devices. And here's just a few. The pineal is suspended in this fluid. All of these, the optic chiasm, the hypothalamus, all these things get to touch the ventricle. But not just the ventricle. They get to touch the liquid. Keep in mind that people who didn't know what electricity were trying to understand what a soul was. And so they were using tangible materialistic means. Nothing wrong with that, but that's what they were using. And I need to get better at this there. After we invented electricity, the definition of the soul changed. And I want you to now think about the idea of a liquid computer. Mythological, if you want to look up in your mythological hymn, you just look up Sheol and the waters down beneath. And Sheol knows all things, but also you're not able to penetrate the depths at the same time. And if you think about what the third ventricle is, it's a liquid computer that's doing something very important. You see, water is a precious resource. You've been told that your brain is suspended in cranial spinal fluid for buoyancy, and it is. Guys, they don't have to be wrong, okay? Science is a church, and it doesn't have to be wrong. You gotta get flexible, baby. You gotta get jiggy with it. I need you to go into the chamber. I need you to listen to Vivian tell you that she's a virgin. I need you to see through that, and I need you to want to do it anyway. Can you do that? See, you're afraid of Medusa. Long time ago, you fell for this trick. You did, and it burns when you pee. It burns when you pee, and you were like, I want to cut off Medusa's head, but you can't because she turns you to stone because she makes you hard, and then you're not in control anymore. You lose control of who you are. You were a petrified statue at the face of Medusa. It's because she's beautiful, guys. It's not because she's ugly. It's because she's a frickin' stone cold hottie. Get it? Do you get she's a stone Man, that is fucking funny, James. You're just going to get a gold star. James True gets a gold star for saying stone cold hottie, Medusa. Now, I should say it quieter, it'd be funny, right? But I can't help it. I'm just juicing my own fuel. This is in fuel. We are an in fuel flight, which means, we take fuel as we fly. Some of you too fly plane, but I'm not very good. Like, James, you're great at the whole flying and refueling, but you're just too loud. You want to tell everybody what you do. I'm like, I know. I can't be in this secret program, can I? And they're like, no, James, you can't. You've got a big mouth. James, we're going to throw you out, but we need to first kind of delegitimize you in every way. And that way you can hang out with people that frankly aren't going to fuck with us because they have sanctity. And I'm like, okay, I'll do that. Can I be an underground agent? They're like, no, but you could be underground. You could be underground, James. You can call yourself an agent. But in the immortal words of Agent 86, we will neither confirm or deny your existence or your connection to our program. And now you just know why I'm an Illuminati. I'm Illuminati. I've been naughty. And the Illuminatis are like, dude, you're embarrassing. We can't have you around here. And I'm like, I know. I'm going to go out on my own. And do my own thing. So, moonchild is something that we've talked about before, and I don't mind explaining it again, but it really does go both ways. Moonchild is a positive. First of all, a lot of times when you first enter into this concept of maybe if you even don't know this word, but in the truth movement, moonchild, on the outer church, moonchild means, I just need to practice this. Now I'm down here with it. Hey, baby. Now I'm down here. Moonchild means, on the outer church of the truth movement, moonchild would mean typically a Luciferian sacrificial baby that was conceived in a middle of a satanic ceremony and raised from birth to have her organs placed into a bowl and fed around the place. And that's true. Okay, so I'm making fun of it, and that's true. Why is it true? Because if you look into the soil, if you look back at what we do, and probably still do, it's not about that we don't do it now, but if you go back in time, you're going to be able to see the same truth clearly. And you just go back to Bells and Cheeks. Remember I told you about Bells and Cheeks? And the idea that she is torn apart and thrown to the ground so that the country, the festivities of Republican Democrat sacrifices on Temple Mayor begin. So this stuff is real, and it's also not accurate because it's mythology. And if we can look at Pizzagate like mythology, then you can understand why it's such a precision instrument. And it's such a precise instrument because of the liquid taste that it brings. I'd like for you to consider that the liquid membrane of this third ventricle is just a giant tongue. It's all full of sensory organs anyway, but you're licking your brain, but you're licking your brain with the Sheol, which is alkalized by the charge that the brain brings. So the brain pulls up all these things on the desktop or the holodeck and places them in the physics engine. And the phonological, the phonological loop runs through its processors. And in that point, that water starts to boil. I'm talking alchemically. That the alchemical changes that are occurring inside the third ventricle are actually rendering and running the necessary simulation. And I'm calling it the water because it would be the water that would need all that space. You would need the storage space. The phonological loop is very small. 7 digits used to be the max that the average person can remember. This is why you have a 7-digit phone number, and now you have 10 because our resolution has expanded, and now that 10 is moving into IPv6, a 6-tiered IP address. The Internet of Things is just proof of a resolution that you, my friend, are able to imaginate that your refrigerator is running. And when I say running, I mean it's alive. It's a living thing. I get it. Oh, there's a fucking machine. You're animizing machine. I'm like, yeah, you've been doing that too. I've been doing that too. I animize my belt. I animize my pants. I should have worn pants. I'm animizing my sweatshirt. I'm animizing all these things. You were animizing pixels on the screen unless you met me. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. You are animizing pixels on the screen unless you've met me. You didn't know that, did you? Dude, you don't understand how fucking creative you are. You got no idea what the rock is cooking inside you. So this idea of moonchild is, on the outer church, it's this evil thing, da-da-da-da. And then on the inner church, it's a really powerful thing. It's a powerful thing because when we do this, we not only do we have a living trust or a will or an inheritance. This is literally the passage of prana and belief, which is a moonchild event. You are imbuing the next genetic code with whatever signature you want to call it. Most of us will just call it me or my children or whatever, but your genetic line would simply be an address that you could sign, and by default, that's who we give it to. And so, what we bequeath to our children makes everyone a moonchild. All of them are moon children. The idea comes in the birth, though, and in one of my books, I can't remember which one. There's a very accurate Cherokee birth that is reenacted, which showcases what happens. When they only make moon children. That's all they do. That's the only thing. The pregnancy is typically a solo event. It's a vision quest, but it's a moon vision quest. It's a moon quest. It's a very different thing. Typically, a tree is chosen because of you could call it symbology, but I think we lose grip on what we're talking about. That a tree is chosen because of its shape. The architectural shape of the tree allows her to, just like you would place thoughts into the liquid of your horns or your angels, the distance away allows certain thoughts to percolate that have not been felt in the chemistry of the others. And so too does picturing a tree or going into a tree and imagining the tree as the torus and that shape itself with the roots and the branches being repeated as above and below gives you the architecture to place and drape all the things you as doula would need, whether it be to die or to bring birth. Really, it works the same way, but to hang the pranic instruments of this ritual that you are practicing. So the idea of moonchild is unavoidable. We can't help this thing. And we're watching ourselves, I think, come online because only what we consider the elite or the beyonder would participate in such a thing. And that eliminates the clutches that we epigenetically haunt ourselves with because they are not moon children. So how do you make a moonchild? Because you could do it really slow, you could do it really fast. I think I have this. The elite might have a moonchild with a, you call in John D, you inoculate with Enochian, you inoculate. Oh my God, that is a t-shirt. Inoculate your child today. You inoculate the room, right, with your seven pentaslams and your tetragons and your gooka beans and your rubicambagoos, and you set all your rules, and then you spell every angel's name right, and then you go back and apologize for not pronouncing them correctly, tell them how unworthy you are and how you really wish they'd come. I'm just telling you, this is usually how it would go with John D. It's just like, oh, dude, why are you doing that? Anyway, it's you gotta crawl before you walk. You gotta walk before you run. You gotta run before you fly. You gotta. I would say inhale before you exhale, but guys, I'm still trying to figure out which one came first. I should have wrote it down. If I would have wrote that down, that would have been brilliant. If the first thing I would have done is like grab a pen and say, okay, did I inhale or exhale? Because if I fucking knew that right now, I would tell you. And you guys would be like, oh my God, thank you for writing that down. Like I said, I've proved that we will not have time travel in our life or any time in the future because I made a pact with myself at 11 that if there's time travel, I would come back to the time that I was 11 and inform myself. And that did not happen. I'm sorry. But good news. As soon as I die, time travel is back on the menu, so you guys are safe. You guys, it's not out of the question for you. But for me, as long as I'm alive, you can rest safe that time is sacred. No one's gonna fuck with it. Your time is sacred here. This is what I give to you. Some people give the world crabs. I give the world time. I'm like, here's your time. No one's gonna fuck with it as long as I'm around. I'm like Trump, who's like, hey guys, if they kill me, I want you to bomb Iran. That's Trump going, I am not suicidal, right? That's him saying that. And I'm saying, I'm not timocidal. I'm not timocidal. Don't worry about it. Time is safe. And that's sacred. I don't want you to enjoy it. So there you go. Yeah, thank you. I do what I can, Eric. I do. So what if you're not an elite? Well, you're going to try and hijack this system. You're going to try and find a way to make an instant moonchild. It might look like this. What did that guy just do? Did you see that? Some of you didn't see that because you're working. You're doing stuff, You're cleaning something right now, and you're like, no, I didn't see that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to tell you. I want you to enjoy this moment where you don't know. And I want you to really enjoy the fact that other people do know and you don't. And this actually makes it more titillating. It's more salacious this way. I'm not muted. Guys, I've been nailing not being muted today. I just want to point that out. But, so what is it, James? What is it? I don't know if I should tell you or not. No, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you because I need to be able to move this conversation on. So, really quick, you just saw a cathedral where a dude ran very fast with his, I'm going to call it a toddler. Let me know in the comments if you don't think that's the proper description. I'm going to call it a toddler. Some of you guys are like, hey, Todd, stop having fucking kids. And I'm like, I know. It's just an expression. It doesn't actually mean they belong to Todd. Leave Todd out of this. Todd's had what can I say? Todd has charisma, guys. Todd has a lot of charisma. That's all I can say. Anyway, the dude is running a toddler down the cathedral, and he runs up to the altar. He breaks every protocol. This is the middle of church. Everyone's already chanting. Everyone's already doing their thing. And he tries to place his child on the altar when he realizes he's not close enough to the altar because there's like another altar before the altar. This is the altar. And so when he reaches the inner and outer altar, the outer altar realizes he's going to have to just fucking throw his child. So he basically throws his child into the pulpit of the Mother Mary, placed at the center. Now, this whole thing is suspended on some sort of like cord, right? We'll call it the holy cord, right? Because, they probably call it the holy cord. It's like, hey, fetch the holy cord so we can hang up the holy, rail and get out the plastic mannequin. I mean, the holy mannequin, and actually we should call her the holy womankin. Would you stop bringing that up, Todd? That is all you fucking say is you want us to name it the holy womankin. And no one's going to understand, Todd. You're the only one who's going to get that. Why does my kid look like you, Todd? What is going on? So this is an example of like trailer park moonchild, right? This is like instant moonchild. Unzip bag, take child, throw it on the altar, just at the right time. And this is what we're talking about. So what happened? That dude understands that all the pranic witness of this entire thing, he wants his child to be seen. He wants his child to be in the world. He is screaming at you from his light cake. This is actually why I brought this up, if you don't know. He's screaming at you from the from the wand of his fertility and inoculating this concept of moonchild right in your face. He needs to do this because he does not have the privileges of the elite, and the elite allow him to do this slower. He has one chance. He took it, and you and I are discussing it right now. We're discussing it. And do you know why this is such a perfect moonchild event? Because ready for this? The child's innocent. Guys, the child is innocent. Do you see the magic there? He's going to get blamed. He's going to take all the blame. And in the process of taking all the blame, he's going to alchemize that into innocence. And everyone who blames him is going to say, yeah, but the child is totally innocent. I just want to point out that the child, Todd's kid over there, he's like totally innocent, okay? Look, you can't be blaming the sins of the father on the sins of the child. It doesn't work that way. Okay, it works the other way because we are time safe. James told us it's time safe, so we can't retroactively syndicate. You didn't know that, did you? It's kind of cool. There's no syndication backwards, which is why the children are innocent. It's a beautiful cone of innocence, like the sound barrier that only some of us see, right? Only some of us see, right? Meanwhile, in the heart, I'm a virgin. Hey, you come in here. What's your name? Gallahan. Hey, I'm going to give you this sword, and it's my virginity, and I want you to go out and save the world, because you're the only one. He's like, really? He's like, yeah, really. And then off you go. All right, who's next? Bring him in. All right, can we do 3 at a time? Can we do that? I don't know if they're going to think it's special. Oh, they'll be fine. They don't have a nucleus. These red blood cells, see, there's a joke. They don't have a nucleus. You guys are like, oh yeah, James said that red blood cells. If I have to explain your jokes, James, it's not funny if you have to explain stuff. Liquid consciousness. liquid computer, my friends. This is your hard drive. It's Sheol. The reason why you have to make 2 shot glasses of water every hour is because of this. We don't even think. Oh, sorry. I wish that was a smoother transition there. But we don't even think about this liquid. We don't even think about its shape, and its shape is pretty special. Its shape. Let me see. Excuse me. Just want to make sure this works. Hang on. I want you to be able to see this, but its shape it looks like a creature. I'm getting ready to be able to do this. I think it looks like a creature. Oh, that's not working. I think I just have it right here on this slide. It looks like a creature. And it has this very, very distinct shape. It's got an eye. In fact, it's got a nose. It's got an eye. It's an architecture. And when we, does this work if I do this? When we excuse me guys, sorry. This hole that you see, some of us don't even have. Some of us have more liquid than others. And as we process in the pulses of our heart, this liquid is being neutralized. CS fluid has a very specific pH. The pH change is it changes, but no one really talks about it. I'm not trying to say it's a conspiracy. It could be. I don't think it is though, guys. There's just so many cool things that have been brought to me by people that are just studying stuff, and I get there's just such a push now just to say I want to deny everything, and that's a light cake too, man. I'm not gonna tell you how to squirt that thing, I'm not. But I do believe that Gaia wants you to have as many bits of information as you can handle in order for you to process a better triangle. It doesn't make sense that everything would have to be a lie. I definitely think that lies are part of the truth that we find, and I think that you'll find that it's always the crystals on the end of the buds of all these things that are where all the lies really, really exist, because it takes a certain kind of someone to crystallize themselves and leave the green, leave the leaf. And that crystal is what makes the whole thing fantastic. And you have visions of that, but it's not even necessarily the product itself, but it's the glimmer. They call this Andromeda, believe it or not. This is the white foam of the ocean. The ocean is not made of foam. But there's this chef's kiss at the very top. And I know this sounds gross, like in the sense of because we don't understand that we haven't ripened our lies yet. Lies are still too What's the word if it's not? They're too tart. Yeah, lies are still too tart. And once those ripen, once we start to develop our ability to fantasy, to enjoy fantasy, I think this really kicks in, and we start to understand that in order to understand the fractal shape of this thing, we would need these crystallized Andromedaic foam that's neither water nor air, but is the reaction between. And inside your liquid computer, you're going to need enough quantum space, I think, to kind of factor those things, right? To kind of, to see those things. And this would be the SSD. Your phonological loop is simply just your mouse and your cursor. It's a very small sort of resource, but the resource is able to tap into a much larger frame. And it's not actually correct to even say this is the third ventricle is the only part of your liquid computer. And I'm sorry I don't have this in the animation, but the liquid goes all the way down to the bottom of your spine. Right? And it's actually in two chambers, so it's a capacitor of liquid. There's liquid in the center separated by a buttload of nerves, cartilage, bone, and then another layer on top of that. So it's a capacitor that has a nice seal. And then once you get into your brain, past another seal, the blood-brain barrier, you also have this other liquid computer, and these liquids are the same. And it may not be 2 shot glasses an hour, guys. I think it might actually be like 4 shot glasses a day or something. 8 shot glasses a day or something is how much liquid that our body has to generate just to maintain this computer, just to keep this thing. As Da Vinci said, the sensus, the center of the senses here. And so this would explain a lot of reality being a chemical transaction in the sense of all of our melanin gets to be applied. A chemical computer is rendering this thing. Some of you don't like the word computer, and that's cool too. This is actually part of your triangle. Your triangle's beautiful because you don't like that word. I lost my computer cherry a long time ago. I've been comfortable in that realm for a long time. So, you could call me an old soul, but I just got there early. See, I just was comfortable with that kind of technology early. It doesn't mean you should trust that, though. Your journey is crucial. Watching someone get really angry at me yesterday because they feel like I really just slammed the anti-virus, anti-vaccine cult, and they really were getting a lot out of that church, and I get it. They dropped their patronage and called me some bad names and whatever, and I know this is venting, but also I know it's because I fucking lethal. That was a lethal thing I did. And I would expect these things to happen, which is why, and there were patrons that was like, I lost money. And don't hear me as saying, oh, poor me. I want you to know that this is always how it would be. It will never be the other way. Because you're forging things that aren't there. And when you forge something that isn't there, it becomes valuable, not because of scarcity. Although scarcity is a huge element. A lot of us are trying to be anti-scarcity, by the way, which is a weird conversation we'll have to discuss. But more importantly, if you're putting a lot of importance into an object, the way magic works, the way pixels work, that becomes important. If Donald Trump uses this pen to sign a law, if I use this pen to sign a book, this is the pen I use to sign books. It actually shouldn't be over here. It's almost always over there with the books. However, I signed a book yesterday and the pen was over here and I didn't take it back, and now I'm using it for show notes, and I already know that because I already realized this is holy. But right before the show starts, I also said, yeah, but my show is sanctimonial sacrament too. See how this works? So I don't want to overuse this. This is why Potlatch is covered the rest of the year. And then one day, hey, you want to see my potlatch? Boop, boop. And you're like, I missed it. And you're like, well, you have to come back next year. And they're like, wow, that was special. And you're like, yeah. Scarcity, bitches. But I don't like fear, James. Fear makes your titties hard. Stop telling me you don't like fear. Stop it. Stop it. Have you subscribed? Have you done that? I got something else here to show you. This is it's the sound of America. Actually, I'm going to talk about that in a sec. First, I think there's some slides here. Can you hear him? Moonchild. Someone asked yesterday what I mentioned about RH factor. And there's so juicy. There's one of the juiciest things in the outer church is Rhesus negative blood, RH. You've heard this, right? RH negative blood is, and all that's true. We've talked about this. Mythology is true. Mythology is reality. Mythology is more real than reality is because mythology is the K sampler before latent space. And if you can get into the K sampler and assign the value directly, then you are touching the nipples of the whole thing. Look into K sampler. That goes into the calcium keratin. Well, we're getting way off track. This RH negative thing is there's a certain kind of blood that is poison. And this is 15% of us have this RH negative. I'm not going to tell you if I have it or not. I was getting ready to, but I tell a lie once an episode. Oh, I love that I've put this in. God, James. Chef's Goose. This is great. I don't have to correct anything. 15% of the population, which I may or may not be part of, has this RH negative blood type, and so we've attributed them as the lizard people. I'm fine with that. I think there's a lizard in all of us. I've literally try and tell you about it every day. It's called the id, and it's Atlas. It expresses itself as Atlas because it's holding up the entire world, which is the cranium, and this is your id, and it has a space. It's fucking trapped in Tartarus. It's trapped in Tartarus. It depends on how it feels, right? From your horns, it's trapped in Tartarus. From the angels, it's serving you because it loves, it has universal love, and it has no self because it's dead. So therefore, it just wants to make you happy. And and if you're happy and clap your hands, yeah, it's great too, man. Fucking go for it. Why don't use your horns, your horn wings, you wingy horn, your horny wing. Go for it. Be creative. You are creative. Independent, in decadence. RH. So, what is this concept? Really what it is that, two people have a moonchild. And what happens during the spell of moonchild is, the blood is consecrated. And there's an argument. The child doesn't know who to trust. Do I trust my father or do I trust my mother for the coding? Am I going to be baptized under the church of my father or the church of my mother? I swear to fuck, this is what RH is. I swear it is. It's a protein coating of ammonium, excuse me. And the one on the left is RH positive. The one on the right is RH negative. And this is just a coating on the blood cell. And so if you have this RH factor, then you've been consecrated in the Catholicism of one of your parents. And if you haven't been consecrated in the Catholicism of one of your parents, then you may not have this coating. And when the two of you get together, then one of you the child actually has to decide, how am I going to be consecrated? Now, when you're consecrated and you come out of the virgin vessel, the mother in this case, there's not necessarily a problem. I really hope I remember to show you what's right underneath my picture right now. But it's really not a problem. It's usually the second child that there's a problem. And the second child is because the mother disagrees with what the child decided. Seriously. The mother is epigenetically abandoned. There's been a safety technique that she's had her whole life, and her child has chosen to reject that, and it hurts. It hurts her so much that it collapses her own immunity field because of her belief. The same thing that happened yesterday with the patient I was telling you about, where they are spiraling because they're angry, happens on a blood level. It's happened to me. When I was first born, not when I was second born, when I was first born, when I was 0 point born, I spent like 3 weeks in the hospital. Apparently my mom said I was a real pain in the ass, and she wasn't happy about it, and she did not like me. She was not digging it. I'm just telling you what she said. I really love this honesty because I'm able to alchemize this. And when I think about what happens is, yeah, there's a fucking war. There's a epigenetic war that was happening from the psychic feelings. Here's my theory. This sounds crazy. My theory is that my grandfather was worried that my mom was going to marry my dad. And my mom was wanting to rebel from my dad because of a lot of trauma in her life. And then she wanted to embrace him. And then my grandfather was so requited by this. He was so worried about this that he fucking reincarnated as me. Yeah, you can come take me away. You could try. But as soon as they come take me away, wherever you come and take me away and put me in, everyone else just gets more crazy. That's why people are like, let's just let him stay here. But he's live streaming. I know, but it's okay. It's okay. Look, he makes 5% of his patrons leave him because he insults them the next day. It's okay. He's a self-maintenance. This is a self-maintaining plant. We can let him go. It's okay. So, this war, this argument, is not specifically based on science. And one of the reasons why I still read the vernacular, one of the reasons why I believe in a lot of what I read is because it's in the mythology, and that mythology to me is more important. And I want you to read this. This is great. Dr. Kenneth Moyes from Texas, he's from Texas, says, Rh immune globulin thwarts attempts to understand how it truly works. This is like a pretty standard. This dude probably voted, right? Look at him. He probably voted. Yes, I am my own grandpa. Good catch there. I just did admit I'm my own grandpa. Rh immune globulin thwarts attempts to understand how it... Let me put it in his voice. You know, Rh immune globulin thwarts attempts to understand how it truly works. The common theory is that it coats fetal red blood cells that enter the mother's system doesn't explain why the cure appears to work, even when the amount administered isn't sufficient for the coating. Well, Dr. Moyes, what are you saying? Son, I'm trying to tell you that the amount of this chemical we did that lets the mama and the baby cooperate despite having a RH factor between them, that the amount of lotion that we apply is nowhere near sufficient to levels that will be required to actually cover all of these blood cells. And that the fact that this works, quite frankly, my friend, I got no idea. Now, you can come home and ask my wife, and she'll tell you because I didn't mow the lawn last week. And some of you will tell me that it's because I miscounted, but I checked the numbers. I'm not a conspiracy theory. Look at me. I'm as normal as they come, and I'm telling you, even though I'm normal, I'm being honest because that's how I was raised up to be, because I'm a good person. And just because I vote and just because I have a different church than you doesn't mean that I'm lying, doesn't mean that I'm threatening your immunity by suggesting viruses are real. Because look at me, I'm telling you, I'm establishment, congregation, and I'm just secreting the mistress of this universe, and you're missing it because I'm not dressed the right way. I ain't got enough hair, or I got too much, or it's not on my cheeks the way it should be. But I'm telling you, as the establishment, that we don't know why this cure works, because quite frankly, it's impossible. So why does it fucking work then? Here's science telling you, dude. I am helping you. That's science telling you that. The Church of Science doesn't have to be wrong. Just because it's a church doesn't make it wrong. Just 'cause it's a church doesn't make it wrong. They got a gymnasium and a jukebox. You know, this is, guys, you're going to find berries everywhere. Think of the blueberry butt cheap. I told you yesterday about these 8 fields, these 8 different roles. And I was very negative. I was telling you there's a charlatan, a vandal, a protector, a gatekeeper. And I was going through these 8, see the video about that maybe? There's like, actually cut that out. It's called like the 8 factors of placebo. And I want you to apply those in a positive way today and think about these as different fields. That these are fieldings and that they're not rational on purpose. They're not rational on purpose. James, did you have time to? No, I did not. I was hoping that I actually had time to pull that list up of the 8. But they're not rational on purpose. Here's what I mean. There is inside of you a vandal. You will go to another church and throw rocks at that place to make your church seem better. That's what I said yesterday. And I don't want you to think that, oh, you and I don't do that thing, or that that's wrong. This is a posture that you would employ based on your electricity. But let's take it a step further. A rattlesnake is made of 7 chambers. Its tail. They're all separate. They're keratin floating inside keratin, floating inside keratin. Why does that work? There are no moving parts. There are moving parts, but all the parts are loose. There's no mechanism. Purely shape. None of these fields I want you to think of as rational, and I want you to know that you need them. This is about belief. If you want to truly have a church, you're going to need a gatekeeper. The gatekeeper does not need to believe. Remember when I said that? Doesn't need to believe. They're there for the authority. I want you to look at this in the same way, that there is a certain kind of layer of field. I don't care where you put it. In fact, you can ignore these words, okay? These words from an old slide, but I was frankly working on this video of the liquid mind. That took a while. And so, but these still work, because I don't want you to get stuck in saying that that the field has to be a certain place or it has to have a certain name. That your fields are about belief. This is not about rational intellect. It's not about reason. It's not about everyone getting along. It's not a legal decision based on objective reality. It's your fucking belief. So part of that belief is you're just going to be a gatekeeper just because what the fuck? Why not? Why not? I fucking want to be a gatekeeper. I want to do that because there's a focus just purely on just defense. Why would you not want that? Look at the fucking world. Jaguar psychopaths falling out of the trees. Literally. Running through. They're wearing ties now. They're doing so well they're wearing ties. They're leasing vehicles on the street. All right. So the gatekeeper is valid. And it's in you. In fact, you probably let him slough off. You're probably not giving him enough props because you're embarrassed by him, quite frankly. He's your Marine. You're like, thank you for your service, but you can't sleep here. Find these levels. See the movie from yesterday. I don't have time to play it again, but watch that because I broke it down in a 1 minute or 2 minute clip, and it just shows you these different levels. But they're not necessarily the same thing. The point is that if you're going to be a vandal, you're still believing in something. You're just using the destruction of something else. If you're going to be a gatekeeper, you believe in the authority that you bring. If you're a crusader, you believe in the props everyone else gives you. If you're a charlatan, you believe in yourself as someone who's helping. More important than you want to have accuracy. That all of these different poses you need. And I know it sounded like I was saying this is you failing. And this is your rational mind seeing these things, but each of these would be levels, I think, that would be cloistered part of your church that would be necessary. And none of them would be rational. And the fact that they're all different, that they're coming from different things, they're hungry for different things. One of them wants authority. One of them wants to be a rarity. Remember the power of flat earth? Not to say it's wrong, but I'm just saying if you believe that you have a secret and everyone else is wrong, that is a solar collector. You are collecting some serious prana if you make that shape. What did I tell you? The entire world, all the power is architecturally based. These are pranic receptors that you're pointing in a certain place, and you're collecting it from another space. So all of these beliefs would just be what? Sephiroth, bing, Sephiroth. Malkuth is the gatekeeper. Christina Moss is the Malkuth of Dr. Sam Bailey. You need these things. You want these things. It's a church, and it's full of perverts. What do you do? What do you do? Change, you burn down the church. I'm with you, dude. I've done it. I do it every day. Still doesn't work. You know what you do? Another option is you turn into a Freemason. You start mind fucking people. You become a Jaguar psychopath. Oh, you did not just say that. You did not just say that. Fieldings. Whoa, Fieldings. That's what these guys are, man. And the primary function of the immune system truly is, the only thing the immune system does is say, what is self, what is not self? What is self, what is not self? And who would be best in charge of that? Probably your ego. This gelatinous plasma bubble that we all hate in public, but masturbate to when no one's looking. Its ego is the immune system. That's gonna be too deep of a thing. Because I think there's something else I want to play, which is more about just comfort. Look, if you're clinging to something that I've disagreed with on the show, and you have to drop me as a supporter, I respect that, because I know that our relationship is based off me telling you, what you want to hear, or what's going to make it feel good to hear. This is church. I don't shame you for this. I think this is great. I could filter every single thing in the world and place it through the stymie of my own prejudice, and that's what I do, and that's what I bring. I lean into that. If I do knock you off this wagon, though, it's usually a sign that your feelings have betrayed you. And feelings are important. They're fieldings. I give them electrical power. I've just told you that they're supposed to be irrational. I've told you that if you need someone else to tell you that your feelings are valid, you have created and wired a system that is not sustainable, that I don't think you're going to have a good time on. You're going to be plugged into the majoritarian system, which is great if you need that. See, slavery's not wrong. Slavery's going to be for people that need it. I'm not saying a majoritarian is a slave, but I'm just saying all these elements, all these things, they're all necessary, even if I don't agree with them. And if you are not in the same position, you're losing calories. And I think the reason why you're losing calories is because you will not admit that chemtrails come from anxiety. If you will tell yourself that. I don't need you to even see chemtrails to say this. If you will just say, chemtrails are rendered from anxiety. Chemtrails are rendered from anxiety. You start to gain power over this place. The nucleus is the center of a cell. The nucleus thinks it's the whole thing. And that nucleus is submerged inside an outer membrane, which is the world. And it fights with itself for power. It sees the mitochondria right outside its window, and because it has a different DNA signature, it feels that is not me. It exchanges with the outside world through an economy. It has the world is surrounding it. And the world is saying, nucleus, you're going to have to pay some taxes. Nucleus, you're going to have to serve your country. Nucleus, you're going to have to constantly repeat over and over that you exist in this place. That if you drop that flame, the flame of Prometheus is transcription, that if you drop that flame, the macrophages will come and we will recycle you like it's a flower war, and we are worshiping your meat. We will take your universe apart piece by piece and promise you that each of its pieces will be stored in consecrated secrecy. Coffin is secret. And the space around your body and the coffin is the same as your third ventricle. It's this space. This is the capacitor. Capacitor is the storage of energy. Your entire life would be this energetic thing. So if chemtrails are anxiety, how do you see through this place? And I think I have something that'll help you. I'm not in the business of helping, but I'm going to make an exception right now. Actually, helping you relax helps me, so this is very selfish. You are going to be out in the world and you're going to see someone else's baby. And maybe you're going to go, that is an ugly baby. Oh my God, that is an ugly baby. You're going to say that. And you're going to feel like shit for it. I mean, you're not going to say it out loud. You're still going to feel like shit because they got to you, man. Your immune system is so corroded that if you have thoughts, you're going to beat yourself up for them. That's fine. You're doing what you can. You know, it's like plasmatic gingivitis. But anyway, you're like, that's an ugly baby. And after you beat yourself up, then you have this insight. You're like, I bet you that's not a beautiful, that's not an ugly baby. And you start to compassionate the mother, and you probably all of a sudden find that baby beautiful. And you may even find yourself beautiful because you are so anti what you just thought. And I just told you that you unleashed these different layers of belief, and each of them came in and bullied their way into this new church. And it wasn't rational. It was actually maladaptive. You're poisoning yourself with negative thoughts. And this is the definition of primitive medicine. And that primitive medicine has gotten us pretty far. Guys, the Hippocratic Oath is the promise to do no harm, and the promise to do no harm is the promise to do no medicine. So the Hippocratic Oath is the promise to do nothing. That's what it means. So, it's time to claim this power. So how do you claim this? I want you to own your anxiety. You're the nucleus. The anxiety is outside of you, but this whole world's watching you. You're not watching the world. The whole world's watching you. The mitochondria is watching you. All the organelles that are outside your wall are watching you. They're looking at you going, are you alive? Because that last I am sounded like you were phoning it in, because you're just like, I fucking am. I am. And when things are great, you're like, I am. And when things are shitty, you're just like, I am. Like a cat. I am. And you're crying, and you're, I am. And this sounds annoying. I am. And like every pain, I am. It sounds annoying. I am. And you just get apulsicated. So first you got to go meet it. I am. Now you meet the cat. You're going to take the end of a pencil and you're going to poke it right below the tail, because it's probably going to heat. And then it's going to feel, okay, let's not go. It's I am. And you're going to ride that I am. You're going to listen to the beat, but you're going to regulate to it. First, you're going to say, I recognize you. Second, you're going to say, I understand why you sound this way. Third, you're going to say, it's actually worse than you think. Yeah. When you tell that it's worse than you think, this cat stops, because it's like, really? And you have to then say, and they're like, oh my God, you understand. Ugh. Now you get to take it anywhere. This pain is information. And you transmogrify it by listening. So the I am turns into the I am. And that crowling cat-like scream starts to become a vocalized message. A cry for help. A chemtrail is a cry for help from a healthy individual. Wouldn't cry for help if not. The nucleus is not listening because the possibilities of what this means seem too difficult to give empathy. They lack the electricity or the motivation or the trust or or whatever it is, right? And you transmogrify that. Turns into the I am, turns into the I am, turns into the I am. I am. I am. And the baby's not so ugly. The baby's hungry. The baby needs to clean its pants. The baby needs things that are made up, like baby powder and soap. It needs a washcloth on his forehead. It needs just a simple spit wipe with a finger. It needs its shoulders to be rubbed from the center to the outside with the thumb 4 times. These are trivial things. These are things that are not scientifically proven. And this is the application of witness. This is showing the child, I'm witnessing you. That's all it means. And you're just beholding the witness. You are placing it on them like a balm, like a lotion. And this is such a large baby, it's hard to do. And when you listen to the media, you're listening to a baby cry and you're like, that baby is ugly. Someone needs to drown that baby. This is how it feels when you listen to the media. And that's because it's such an amplified signal. It's really, really, really hard to hear. It's just really, really hard. And you don't want to hear it. You don't think that you could ever find this sound nice, but it's music. This is the sound of the baby Amuraka. And it's an eagle warrior. If you think about the Great Seal, if you're looking at this place as God would or as an AI would, you'd be seeing the Great Seal throughout history. When John F. Kennedy was shot, the Great Seal was there. In 1930, when we opened the National Archive, the seal was there. When Donald Trump and Melania Trump danced at their inauguration 2 weeks ago and slow danced with Space Force, the seal was there. God probably looks at things as high speed, and he would not see you and me. He would see the symbol of the eagle appearing throughout history. He'd be seeing the icons more than he would be seeing you and me. The icons would remain embedded in the roses, embedded in the flower beds, embedded in the architecture, and buried in every symbol that you could see on the dollar bills, on the badges. And you'd have each country celebrating this eagle in the same way, and that this is more real than you or me. I'm not trying to reduce you. I'm trying to tell you that you are connected to that thing the same way the nucleus is connected to this place, right? I want you to listen to the baby of America. Listen to its sound. It's not so bad when you hear it as a child.
8-year-old Kyra Daniel.
Let's just take Super Bowl Sunday, okay? It's going to affect beer, okay? Most of it, Corona here, comes from Mexico. It's going to affect your guac.
Horse-faced lesbians.
Because what is guacamole
And no,
made
I'm not
of?
talking about
Avocado.
Donald Trump. I'm talking about Mayor Bloomberg.
I actually welcomed Mayor Bloomberg to
We don't need to bring in a rookie. We don't need to bring in people without experience. We need to bring
someone richer in the White House.
Let's put forward somebody who actually lives and works in a middle-class neighborhood in an industrial...
Is a hoax. The climate change agenda is a hoax, and we have to declare independence for it.
I've had enough already tonight of a guy who sounds like ChatGPT standing up here.
With stop and frisk, it got out of control.
And it's not whether he apologized or not, it's the policy. The policy was abhorrent, and it was, in fact, a violation of every right people.
I'm unapologetically pro-life, not because the Republican Party...
The person that runs it's a woman, 70% of the people there.
Let's be honest with the American people and say it will take 60 Senate votes. It will take a majority of the House. So when
best-known socialist.
Whether or not you believe that the criminal charges are right,
That's the first problem.
Which tax haven?
New York City, thank you very much, and I pay all my taxes, and I'm happy to do it because I get something for it.
It's just an... sorry about that. I wish I was cooler. It's just a big old ugly baby. But it's you. It's me. If you can distance yourself from the danger, the anxiety disappears and you're just looking at the jungle. You're just looking at nature in its pure raw form. The only thing different is that you were able to remove some of the grease from your face, and you just see more. And when you first see more, it's loud. The cave burns like a bitch. And you're wandering around, you're poking into things, you're listening to all kinds of stories, and you're terrified, and you're running as fast as you can, even though you still can't see, and you're hitting trees and shit. And at some point, you're just going to sit down like me. You're just going to sit down. And you're going to tune into your ears, you're going to listen to this place, and you're going to realize it's just a screaming baby, man. It's just a screaming baby. If you've ever heard a bobcat, it's like that. If you don't know what a bobcat looks like, but you hear a bobcat, it is terrifying. But once you see a bobcat, it's a little bit easier. And really, that's really what this place is. And so the political parties, this is the shake of that eagle, man. It's shaking arrows, it's shaking laurels. Arrows and laurels, arrows and laurels, arrows and laurels. It's fucking crazy. Eagle's fucking insane. And you know why? Everyone's terrified of him. Everyone's worshiping him. The entire world knows who this eagle is. It knows the baby. It thinks, this is the ugliest baby I've ever seen. What are you going to do? You going to kill your baby? You going to drown your baby? You going to send him to reform school? You going to circumcise him? Are you going to not circumcise him? Think about that. You're going to not circumcise him. Guys, there's no winning. Your attention on the string. You're here to be crucified. You're here to do wrong shit and go, oh, fuck, what just happened? And you're going to sound like a screaming baby. You're going to add to it. So, yeah. Yeah, enjoy the jazz underneath, man. Enjoy that. There's a lot more to talk about, but I gotta go. I'm going out of town. Gonna go hang with my fam. This superb owl is the ritualistic mythology between the eagle and the chief, which is pretty interesting. And it's a chance to listen to a screaming baby and go, oh, I love this kid. Oh, somehow I love it. Thank you for watching James True. Appreciate you so much. Subscribe, like, and enjoy.